Good morning, good afternoon, evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host this morning, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite Creator. And I do continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. So I hope that whoever watches this video, I hope that it finds you as well as possible in your area of the world, in your neck of the woods, and in your neighborhood, and etc. So, with that said, the topic for this morning seems to be, you know, having had a little minor chat with my spirit guides, if you will. Um, there's a lot of fear going on. And, there's fear that, um, hey, Susie Q and hey, Chloe. There's fear that, there's going to be a third world war. And there's fear, that China's going to do this. And there's fear that Mexico's going to do this. And there's fear that the Democrats are going to do this. And there's fear that, well, there's those kind of fears. But then the fears that really attack us most and the fears that really rub us raw. Ooh, it's 12:20 and it's time for a bowl on so many different levels. Um, and I'm not ready. I had to let the dog out and and relieve myself while I was off and about because it's been 2 hours since I'd had the opportunity to, since Robert and I were live and in living color kind of sort of thing. But you know, and listening to folks and I say relatives and close friends, they're oh their fears are different. Hey Scotty, how you doing, boy? Meaning Scotty boy. But anyway, so that there's the fear of tomorrow. Well, whatever tomorrow may bring. Well, so yesterday I was fearing today because I had to go to the doctor. My physical therapist was here for the last time, and there was this and there was that, and so there were minor fears in that. Is my ride going to show up? Is everything going to be okay there? Are me and hey Dominic, I missed you. Sorry. Um, but um, you know, are me and my doctor going to get along, or we're going to have an argument about some stuff? And so um, I'm doing pretty fair. Thank you, Scotty boy. Or were you asking me or asking Dominic? But the doctor said see you in 2 months, so you can read whatever you want to into that because that's about where I was. But see, so there was fears like, okay, what's the doc going to say? Is he going to agree with me or is he going to go off on a limb? I want to be able to go to physical therapy, and is he going to go along with this? Is he going to write into it, or whatever? My good morning. So, but I'm still having pain myself. But here's the thing: it's a universal. Hey, Michelle. Um, but so it's like there are fears that have come over me. It's like, okay, so yeah, I'm talking about myself again. But for example, the levels of fear. All right, I'm shuffling around the house pretty good. All right. But my fear is, will this pain ever really go away? Am I going to have to, to suffer with this the rest of my life, however long my life is? Am I going to have to put up with chronic pain? And so every time I get up and go somewhere, it goes automatically right through my head, holy crap, here we go again. Son of a bitch, it still hurts. And God almighty, is this ever going to go away? So you say it like that, but at the same time, good to hear, Dominic, that you're doing well, or that you're doing good at least. you know, Everybody's got their own idea of what doing good is or what doing well is. Um, but so whether I'm actually thinking about it on purpose, like, oh my God, is this pain ever going to leave me? Or whether it's an offhanded statement like I just made, some bitch, will this pain ever quit? And it's sort of like an offhanded, comment that you make when you get up. God almighty, God. So, but that means that you're worrying. Okay. Yeah, breathing, that's a good thing. And I should have lit this like 5 minutes ago, but it's 12:25 and I'm always late. So, what difference does it make? Dave's going to be late for his own funeral. Woo wee doggies. Um, and I think I've missed my funeral a couple of times, and I didn't know it, but I'm still here. But so, years ago, I was afraid I wasn't going to live until I was, 60. Then I wasn't going to live until I was 65, and now I'm 70, and I'm like, hmm. So I'm wondering what tomorrow's going to be like. But in there, there's a sort of worry, you know. I wonder what tomorrow's going to be like. Well, in that wonder, I called ahead and canceled. That's a good one. But so what's in store for me tomorrow? Is that necessarily a worry? Well, there's a question mark. So, but if we in wonderment, do we wonder what's gonna? I don't have a clue what tomorrow's going to bring for me. I mean, honestly, I'm going to get up, going to make a phone call or two, and I don't know. So, in that wonderment could be some fear. Well, I wonder if it's going to rain tomorrow, or I wonder if I'm going to be able to work on my truck, or I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to walk tomorrow because I walked so much today, or I wonder. So there's wonderment, but in that wonderment, there's a kind of fear. And so, whether we are consciously aware of the fact that we're living in fear constantly because we wonder what tomorrow is going to be like, in that wonderment, even though our wonderment is good, we're still curious. Well, I wonder what tomorrow's going to bring. Well, I don't know. It could be bad, but, we're leaning towards good, but still, in that wonderment, there's a fear that it might not turn out okay. Yeah, they're keeping me around. I got whatever I gotta do, I still have to be here too, Scotty boy. And for some people, it was hard for me to finally figure that out. But to some people, like myself, I fought it for years. And sometimes you have to get into whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. Um, a friend of mine who's been trying to get a job for quite a while now finally landed a job as a driver and a person to help to for example, for me, if I called up the hospital and said, I don't need an ambulance, but I need a ride, she or someone like her would come and pick me up and take me to the hospital. So it's a non-emergency ride to a some kind of healthcare, usually the emergency room or the hospital. So it'd be like, yeah, okay. And I would call them up and say, look, my heart's giving me problems and I need a ride to the hospital, but I don't think it's an emergency. Handing bands? I don't know what they call the program. Now it's up in Tift County. I'm not sure if they have it in the county where I'm at. It's one county north, but here's the thing. She has a lot of physical issues. She just had a birthday, and oh my God, she's 27 years old. Holy crap. It's like I've known her since she was like 12, you know. And saw her go through school and graduation, and then after that, and then she's had a major hysterectomy kind of thing, and trying to get a job, and she was working at a quickie store up in Tifton and got held up last week. It just it like the poor girl couldn't get a break. Well, this seems like a good break because she has worked in a nursing home before and she's got experience and she's fitting in with this job. And so Bob's bouncing around a little bit tonight. Hey, Katniss, how are you? Yeah, I don't know if we have it here in Colquitt County, but they do have it up there. But the fact that she landed this not cushiony job, but I mean it's a good job for her condition and so forth, and it is working with people, and but not necessarily directly, but and I'm just so proud for her. And she gets to wear a uniform and the whole 9 yards. I'm just proud for her. So, you know, I have been sending prayers out to the universe like, come on, give the girl a break. You know, just give her a decent break. She's really trying. She's had operations, she's had illnesses, and she's working at a convenience store and got held up. And the girl's trying. But give her a break for crying out loud. And sure enough, when what you call it came today and picked me up, I don't want to drop any names. Yeah, I'm not feeling too bad, Pearl. Thank you. I'm dealing with the pain on a different level, but to see that she got a break just the other day and that she's starting the job and it's already working out well, that is just, there is hope in the world, even though it took her quite a few years for this job to kind of swing around for her. But she was persistent, she kept working on it and never gave up, and now she's got a job. She's like, I really like this. So don't give up. There's always hope. There's fear for tomorrow, in a lot of things. My brother, he moved out of Ocala and moved back down to Zephyr Hills. Was supposed to have a trailer and everything set up. He was going to sell his place in Ocala and buy one in Zephyr Hills, and now it fearfully might not get this trailer, might have to go look for another one. And my aunt's going, holy crap, he might not ever move out of my house, and so there's fear for tomorrow. Like, oh my God, is he going to get? He's got the loan, but whether or not he can get the house. So there's worry on so many levels by so many people. And friend of mine, they lost their job, kind of thing, and and not having any luck finding a job. And it's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. It's criminal with way the economy is, that there are jobs out there, but do you qualify? And I know that the older I got, the harder it was for me to find a job, because they're like, well, if we hire you and train you and you're 58 years old, and you're going to retire at 65, well, you're only going to work for the company for maybe 7 years. So we'd like for somebody to work maybe twice that long if we're going to, hey, Mossy man. So, if we're going to train him and all this, we don't want to put all this money in training somebody and then, you not be with the company long, or, you're not going to be satisfied, or you're overqualified. And then, right knowledge and inner peace. Just got back yesterday and stayed at my best because of his sons and my godson's viewing and funeral. Sorry about that, Mossy man. Yeah, agree, Chloe. Condolences. May a safe passage have been made. Yeah, be thankful that, they're passing. They're already dead, but that their spirit passing will, go well. But so, on Robert's channel tonight, the Buffalo card came up. And as I was reading it, I was like, Buffalo card came up not recently as well, but tonight he had brought up the subject of religion within, native peoples and so forth, and we had were discussing along them lines. But after having pulled the Buffalo card, how it really fit in with prayer and abundance as the main title for the thing. Yeah, Duggar's over there looking out the window, and um, Katniss, I think I said hi to you. Anyway, much love to all y'all. I mean it. And so, in thinking about it, I was like, actually, it really was fitting. How grateful are we of what we have? Congrats to who, Hawkeye, Michelle? Who am I talking about? But so, but anyway, and like asking tonight, what do you want to talk? Hey, Mark the Ark, how are you? So that there are so many things that. Oh, the young lady with the job. Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Gotcha. Yeah, she really needed it. Oh God, just so many prayers for so many years answered. And so I told her Nana. I said, oh my God, she's 27, number one, but also, um, that, to tell her that, that Uncle Dave, as they know me by, that, tell her that Uncle Dave said to stick with it, and don't give up on the job, and hopefully that everything will work out. But to stick with it, hang in there, girl. She's made it this far. So anyway, sometimes I've seen people get a good luck break and blow it. I mean, just blow it. And so, you got to, if good luck comes your way, by golly, try to take advantage of it. And I don't mean by oversell it or whatever, but show up for work and be courteous and, take advantage of the fact that you got a break, And I've seen some people blow some really sweet deals. I've blown a couple of sweet deals in my lifetime over the years, or being sarcastic or obstinate or something like that. But fear from day to day. So, am I going to make it to town and back? For me, my truck's still broke, and how am I going to get it fixed? I'm going to have to wait until after I get my check before I can order the parts, but, am I going to be able to get it fixed? Can I fix it myself again? Am I going to be well enough to crawl under the truck? I mean, so these are tiny little fears that jump into life. Are they important? Are they life threatening? Well, not necessarily. Me crawling on the ground might be life threatening with my back, but, I'm learning to get down there and not necessarily crawl, but crouch. So that's part of my therapy. But my buddy Rob, texted me today and he said, get the parts and I'll come help you fix your truck. So, but I spent too much money on things that, after my house got hit by lightning, that I'm going to have to wait a week or so when my check comes in before I can order parts. But anyway, but it's little fears. Well, how am I going to deal with this? Can I get it today or am I going to have to wait? How long am I going to have to wait? Well, if I'm going to have to wait, but I'm running out of dog food. I'm blah 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 blah. So the fear that I won't be able to get to the store, or so there are these little tiny fears through the day, and that's just my little bit. And when I was going to work and out on the job and all the time, the tiny little things that comprised a day, there were a bunch more fears involved because there were all these tiny little details that you went around. But so the thing is, so that how do we deal with them? You know, and having a chat with my friend today, I was like, it really, we can get upset, we can cry, and our stomach will get all, turned into knots, or we can just take a deep breath and go, oh, I'll keep an eye on it, and whatever happens, there's going to happen today. We're just going to go do. I'm going to do my best. Whatever tomorrow is going to bring, I'm going to do my best. Well, what about this or that? Doesn't matter. Well, why not? Because I'm going to do my best. Well, now I'm just sitting here worried about tomorrow, and I go, well, I don't know if I can do this shit. I don't know if I can do this. I'm not sure if I can. So you start questioning yourself. Then you might have a tendency to end up actually doing a sloppy job when actually you're quite good at your job or your hobby or whatever it is. But you mess it up, you sabotage yourself because you're worried about it too much. Well, I don't know if I can get this done. And what if this doesn't? What if I don't get the parts? Or what if? And so that what if can kill a project. And and then there, you know, um, you worry me to death. Don't too much. Anyway, the song in my head. But to the point though, so when we say, well, I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm going to do the best I can. Well, what about this? Don't know. But I'm going to do the best I can. Well, what about that over there? Well, I don't know, but I'm going to do the best I can. Well, what about this or that? Well, we've discussed it. Tomorrow's the day we go to put in some kind of, I'm thinking in my head right now for some reason, I'm going to go put in a pond for somebody. We used to build ponds for folks, and little tiny ponds, that go in your backyard kind of thing. And we're going to go put in a pond for somebody. Yeah, we're going to go dig up the backyard, and we're going to do some landscaping, and we're going to bring in some logs and rocks and stuff, and we're going to do all this work. And I hope they like it. I hope after we do all this work and everything and all this time we put in, hope the people like it. And so, you're confident of your job, but you're worried about whether or not the client's going to like it, right? So it's like, I wonder if they're going to like this over here. And, you talk with them and you gave them a sketch and what it's going to basically look like. But you're still worried that whether or not, you're confident in your work, but you're worried about whether or not the folks are going to like your work. If it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. There you go. Thank you, Pearl. And I'm glad things are working out. But but these kinds of things are what keeps us from doing a good job. Because we maybe don't have someone to tell us, hey, quit worrying about that stupid little shit. Just go and do a good job. Now, a master carpenter or a master plumber or a master whatever, someone who's has worked in their field for many years is comfortable in what they know. So they have learned not to worry about stuff, but it's taken them years to get there. So a plumber didn't worry. When I first started doing plumbing work, I was like, well, I don't know if this and whether or not I'm going to put in enough lines and blah blah. Well, the customer liked what I did and hanging it underneath under the floor, just stuff. And then come to find out that I was actually doing really good quality work without quote being formally taught by a plumber, but that I was, had looked at the previous plumbing and replaced it the way I saw it. And also I read some books and learned it through, just watching over other folks' shoulder, but I never had any formal training in being a plumber. So, but I've done some really good plumbing jobs over the years and have been complimented by 20-year journeymen in plumbing, and worked for a guy on a couple of small jobs. But anyway, when you become a master at your craft, then you don't worry about those small things, because you notice if you're into crocheting and you're trying to make a blanket and you're running out of a color, or you see something, and you can see it coming ahead of time, and you don't worry about it. You don't like, well, I'm going to need another color of, or I'm going to need another skein of this. uh, yeah, it's nice to be able to pick and choose jobs. Absolutely. Absolutely. Years ago, I've done some furniture refinishing over the years for different people, and I did this one job for this lady, and it was two single bed headboard, footboard made out of skein. Thank you very much. Um, and that was um, had been stained, but then they had, hey, brother Steve, but also had been painted over with a stain type. It wasn't a stain; it was a paint stain. Okay, made to look like wood, and she wanted it taken back down to the wood. And oh my God, the rings around for decorations on the round posts, and trying to get the paint and the stuff out of those deep grooves. Oh my God! I almost, if I if all I had was time in it and some steel wool and a little bit of, but the amount of time I lost my butt on that job. I worked for $4 an hour when I got done with it, but it looked great, and she was happy with the job, and I was happy that I was done with it. Hey, I said hi, Steve, right? But anyway, but I worried because as I was working on it, everything was coming off really well, and the paint was peeling, and then you know, trying to do the detail work started chewing my time up, and then I started worrying. And then as I'm working on the wood and everything, all I could do was worry, and oh, I don't know if this is going to do any, I don't know if she's going to like it. And I can't get all of this stuff out. And I'm just going to have to leave some of this. And is she going to accept it? And just worry, 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 worry. Work my butt off out there in a shed, and then finally I deliver it to her, and she's pleased as punch, which is good. And the check didn't bounce, and I really needed the money back then because I wasn't receiving much in the way of funds. So but there are so many fears that come to us, and it depends on where you are in the grand scheme of things. Too much of a trip because and my dog's there. Oh yeah, that's right. And maybe you weren't supposed to be there, Steve. You know what I mean? And the dogs were the excuse. Sometimes life throws you that curveball. So you say, okay, Dave, it's been 30 minutes. All right, Hawkeye. So what's the solution to this? Let's talk about this for a minute. Or is there even a solution? And the answer is there's at least a partial solution to this. And you might say, well, okay, what is it? Well, this is oversimplifying it, but that you first become aware that there are little things that you are going to be afraid of. And you say, well, I know, and I know these little things shouldn't bother me and all that kind of stuff, and people will own up to some of this stuff. But then you go, yeah, but you got to take it another step further. And that extra step further is this: I'm going to be aware of it. Yeah, I know, I worry about that, I worry about this. Well, then, so the next thing is so to quit worrying about it, to actually act on it. Truck camping. Oh, you are going to get your roof replaced. Well, that's good. Yeah, I told my friends today, I said, it's so nice down here right now. It should be hotter, but it's like in the 60s at night. And, you know, 2 days is going to be the 1st of June. The weather is great. It's not too hot at mid 80s in the daytime. And this is the 1st of June. I mean, uh, the humidity's nice. The river's down, but oh my God. So I told my friend, I said, I want to go for a drive. I wanted, I'm starting to get cabin fever. If you're here, I got plenty of blow up mattresses and hammocks too. But to be afraid of stuff. So one of the things that honestly, and folks will, well, they'll differ about this opinion or that. Well, I just quit worried about stuff or whatever, and then there are some folks who, I'll just quit worrying about stuff, and then they'll yammer on for 30 minutes about the stuff that they worry about. So, but here's the thing, be aware of it. Wow, all these little things, I have to listen to myself when I talk about them. Am I talking about them in that, oh my God, I'm worried about tomorrow? Well, tomorrow I'm gonna go do this job for this lady. And I'm thinking of a job I did before. I'm gonna go drive an hour to get there down in Tallahassee. And I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna do this work, and I'm doing it for free until I get done. So if she don't like it, she don't pay me, or I only get half the money or whatever. But so I'm sticking my neck out that I'm going down there. Now I have been referred by another one of her friends, and I've done this landscaping for Lady A, right? And I'm working for Lady B. So Lady B has seen the work I did for Lady A, thus why I'm hired by Lady B. She liked the work. So, but I'm still concerned, even though I did a good job for Lady A and Lady B likes it, will Lady B like this when I'm done? So I'm confident because they did a good job. I got referred and all that. But is she going to like it? So there's still open. So I'm driving all the way down there. I'm putting in all this labor and I'm going to do all this work. And I don't know if this lady's going to pay me for the work or not. So, but at the end, it was like she gave me a bonus. But I got an upset stomach over the damn deal because I was worried about whether or not it was going to work out. So, I have worried about some of the dumbest things over the years when there really wasn't, it really wasn't necessary. And it was just like futile at best. So, one of the things that we need to do is observe our behavior and go, wait a minute, I'm worrying about that. Or I say I'm not worried about it, but I really actually am. And should I be? So one of the things after analyzing after I did the job, I was like, man, I worried about nothing. She actually paid me extra and gave me, a bonus because she really liked it so much, and I wasn't charging very much. Because I was independent on my own, sneaking in the backyard kind of thing. where I was charging $15 an hour. Local contractors were 25 and $35 an hour on the cheap end. And so she was tickled to death that I was working as cheap as I was. And so at the end of it, because I was working so cheap, for me, it was like $15 an hour. I was really happy with that. I would have taken 10, and she was willing to have paid me 20. So at the end, I actually got 20 because of what she paid me extra. But anyway, so sometimes it works out that way. But I had worried and worried and worried and worried. So the things I worried about were just, it was just fruitless, right? So the first thing we need to do is observe what we're doing, whatever it is, the small things. Oh, wonder if Jim's going to get home on time for supper. Worry, worry, worry. Oh, I wonder if the kids are going to do blah, blah, blah from school. I wonder if something, something. Yep, I've got actually three different, I got two hammocks that are alike, and they're jungle hammocks, and the third hammock that's just a hammock. But so we have to determine what might be causing why you say you're not worrying, but you keep talking about it. Well, Thursday we're going to have a big something and blah, 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 blah. Why you keep talking about it? Well, you must be worried about it. Well, I ain't worried about it. Then why you keep talking about it? Well, I'm excited. Well, there's being excited. And then but are you going to participate in the event on Thursday? Or, well, no, but, my friend's going to be in it and I'm kind of worried for her or him or whatever. So at some point you find out that whatever something's coming up on Thursday, you're worried in some way. Well, no, I'm not really. Well, then why do you keep talking about it? And I'm not trying to pick on you, but you have to be honest on so many different levels and pay attention to stuff. And you go, you know what? All I got to do is just go, I have been worrying about that, and it's going to be cool. All you got to do is just give it a positive twist and quit thinking, maybe just literally without thinking in your head unconsciously, you are giving it a little bit of a cosmic negative in that. Well, I wonder, well, Thursday's going to be great. Going to have a party, and well, I wonder if Joan's going to be there, and I wonder if the cake's going to be okay, and I wonder if and so you don't really think you're worrying, but then there are little details that kind of sort of pop up, and you find out you are worrying. All right. Now this isn't true in every case. All right. Let's just be honest with that. That ain't true in everybody's case. But you have to kind of break it down in your head. And at first you really gotta nitpick. You really got to be a little asinine in how you look at the depth of thing. Good night, Dominic. Thanks for hanging out with us, and hope you're doing well and will continue to do well. So it's good to see you. Thumbs up. Cheers. But so in this worry stuff, there are people say, "Well, I'm calm all the time," when actually if they were to listen to themselves and how they speak, maybe not so much, that there are actually things that are bothering them. And they might not be big things, but when they want to swear to you that they're not worried about anything, you go, oh, okay. But then you listen for a little bit and you say, well, what about that? And you point it out to them. Well, I'm not really worried about them, but then how come you're reacting this way? Or how come you made that remark? And so the whoever it is, you have to stop and go, wait a minute. Yeah, I am talking about that a lot, ain't I? I wonder if I'm worried about something. And it's not that you have to be critical, but you do. You have to analyze it. And you don't have to be anal about it, but you do have to be serious about Well, I really want to do take worry and chaos out of my life. Okay, so then you have to be willing to look at minute details of your life and go, oh, there's a spot, you know, I need to work on that, okay, you know, when I make a left turn, I need to get over a little more in the left lane. So when I go through that light down on Hillsborough, I don't run into the median, or whatever it is. But in life and whatever it is, when you go to make a left turn, that you know how to go through the steps rather than just jerking the wheel and sliding into a car next to you, uh, theoretically in your mind, and having crashes and chaos. So, in worrying about whether or not you're going to hit something, you know. But so anyway, we need to be able to be honest and without, well, you know, I look at it sort of playfully, like a game. Like, whoops, there goes one of them things I'm worried about. Whoops, that could be one of them things I'm worried about. Oh, could that be something that I worry about? Could this be an incident where I might worry about something? So rather than being, oh no, God damn it, we're going to sit here and we're going to find out. Then we're gonna get to the bottom of this. We're gonna all get together, and by God, we're gonna find out why. And we're gonna be so damn critical. It's gonna hurt. We're gonna sweat blood and tears at the same time. Now you hear me? So, it ain't going to be that. So you should look at your self criticizing of yourself and yourself, um, what would you call it? You're looking at insight into your own self, you're peeking and, you know, um, but it's not to be, you're not doing it in a mean way to yourself. You want to be critical, but in a playful way. Why? Because I want to improve myself. Well, why? Because I'm worrying about shit all the time, and I've got an ulcer, and I'm not quite sure why. And so, why do you want to do this? Well, I want to do better. Well, why? Because are you a bad human being? No, but for some reason, I seem to be worrying about stuff that I'm not quite sure why I'm worried about them. Why am I so worried about you know the Ukraine, and am I so worried about Turkey? And when we're not going to eat it on Sunday, and why am I worried about, Brazil and where the nuts come from? That's an old joke right there, from Charlie's aunt, where the nuts come from. But holy crap. But so anyway, so we have to be able to go, just hang on. I want to analyze my life to see if I'm actually worrying about little tiny things. Now, the other thing is like, okay, if I find out I am doing this, then what you going to do about it, Willis? You know, are you going to do anything about it, or are you just going to look for it, or do you don't give a crap and you're just going to keep on doing what you're doing, which is like okay, but if you're self-analyzing and you want to quit feeling anxious all the time, and you wonder why you're on three different kinds of narcotic or whatever because you're jerky all the time, so maybe you could just look at some of these things and go, well, wait a minute, I really am worried about that, and I really do fret over that, and I really am like a little anal retentive when I wash my hands 7 times, eh, you know. Um, or maybe there are certain things, you know, I really have gone a little overboard on. And then I bitch at other people because I'm the one that went overboard. And then I bitch at other people because I went overboard. Well, because you're stressed out. Well, you don't know how stressed out I am about something. Well, you're the one that went overboard. I'll throw you life jacket, Um, but um, the biggest trick of it all is to be honest. You know, honestly, I realize there are little things that bug me. Okay, no big deal, because it's you that wants to work on you. So you go, you know what? I'm gonna make me just a small list. I'm not gonna overanalyze this because I can add to it at any time. I'm gonna write down some of the things that I just, I'm yakking about all the time. So if I'm yakking about it all the time, it might be that I'm worried about something. So I'm gonna write, okay, blah blah blah. I'm yakking about this all the time. Not sure if I'm worried about something, but I'm gonna write it down. All right, then the next thing, well, I keep talking about going to the dentist, and I keep yakking about it. Well, I don't like the dentist, and I might be worried about that, so I'm going to write down trip to the dentist, blah blah blah. All right, then something else, and well, somebody else is going to the dentist, or somebody else is doing, or so. Then you write down these things as you might observe them, and just and then you start getting a little deeper into overanalyzing. Well, you know, I have talked about this subject 5 times just in the last hour. Holy crap. I might be really like going overboard with this topic here. Um maybe I'm worried about something. Well, you wrote down the subject, but you talked about it twice today, but somebody asked you about the subject once and you offered the conversation once. So, okay, are you obsessed with it? Well, but you did talk about it and you were a little worried when you talked about it. So, that's going to the bottom of the list as far as being the worst of worrying, right? So you can simply, you can categorize this in your own brain and go, well, so what types of things kind of get at my craw? Well, bigger things like this don't really bother me, but little things like this over there, or maybe my Aunt Sally bugs me and I get nervous around her, and I'm trying to, and what about this over here, or my job, or somebody at work, or there's something that will agitate you at some place along the line. Very few people don't have something that agitates them somewhere along the line. And it ain't your fault, it is something, right? And so every time it comes around, it just sticks in your craw. So what do you do about that? You look at it and go, okay, now why does it stick in my craw? Why does every time I see this person just do I just turn beet red and want to choke the living, whatever out of them? And there have been people like that in my lifetime. Not a lot of them, but you just wanted to just choke them, and I mean physically choke them until they turn blue. And I don't know what that's like, but I've like contemplated it a couple of times. So, but anyway, these were some bad people. Okay, child molester kind of want to choke them. But anyway, so you first analyze, why does it make you mad, or why does it upset you, or why are you always talking about it, or why, I had it's been 10 years ago now, but I went through a period where I was like, oh man, I'm talking about this all the time, and I'm talking about it the same thing tomorrow, and every time I talk about it I was getting really upset and really, and I was like, one day it was like slap me, and it was like, do you see what you're doing to yourself? Do you see what you've done just in the last week? about yakking about this. And for every time you talked about it, the story got a little bit more emphasis. And then there was a little bit more drama. And then there was a little bit more. And do you realize, Dave, are you paying attention? And one day I just went, oh, holy crap. Oh, holy crap, a mundo. And then the next day I realized the one, right? The one subject. And I was like, oh man, I really have been doing that, haven't I? And then in reflecting about the one incident, it led to a couple of other incidents. And as I slept on it, I woke up the next day and I realized that not only had I been doing, you know, working this particular subject and getting more mad and angry, whatever, but I'd been doing to that subject over there to a lesser degree, but I was doing it to this subject over there. And every time I talked about it to somebody, it got more dramatic and there was more. And I was like, oh, holy crap. I'm doing this on a bunch of different levels here. And that ain't really what I want to be doing because it's giving a false impression. And I was right about what I was talking about, and the facts were true, but the story in between got more intricate and got more, and and sometimes I found myself embellishing on the truth. There was enough truth already, but as a storyteller, you got to really make the person really want to get it. It's like, one time you tell the story and somebody, got, hit by accident with somebody's elbow, right? And they were dancing and they were in the bar and they got hit by accident with somebody's elbow. It's truly an accident. Then the next time this person got hit in the elbow at the dance, but you leave out accident and you throw in and it gave them a bloody nose. So now the story, it's still the same story, it's still true, but now you've taken it out of it's an accident, and now there was a little blood involved in the first time, but you didn't mention it. It was an accident, got hit in the nose. Period. Now it wasn't an accident, not that you just omitted something to make it more dramatic, and you added there's blood now. There's blood on the scene. So now it's not just a hit. Now there's blood. You know, so there were ways of telling the story. And then to make to make it more embellished and to make it sound better, you added things or left out certain things so that other things were more, pronounced. So it was like when I realized I wasn't lying, but I was absolutely manipulating the truth in how I was telling it. So I was like, I didn't really want to do that. And once I realized, asking creator, show me what I'm doing wrong. And it was like, well, you dumbass, do you see what you're doing here? Oh my God. Oh yeah. And you're going to get caught at it one of these days. And so far you haven't been caught with what you've been doing. But what if you get caught? Like, well, that would not look good on my part as far as on my resume. um, well, and you will have broken the trust of this person and that person. And what about that person over there that really put a lot of trust in you? And they come to find out you've been kind of sort of telling the truth, but you've been kind of making up some stuff too. Well, you added blood into the story or something. Um, and then I started feeling guilty for how I had acted up to that point. And I realized that, you know, there was one particular incident that I was still going to have to lie in order to get myself out of the situation gracefully, without just throwing mud in a bunch of people's eyes, right? So, but those things that bother us. It's 1:18. Is that right? It's 118, 113. You taking triples like that too, huh, Chloe? Triples. I like that. But so anyway, um, but we have to be honest with ourselves and be able to be critical enough to say, I see. Yeah, I really am doing that. Um, oh yeah, yeah, I have talked about. Yeah, well, maybe I'm not really obsessed with it, but I have talked about that subject a lot, and maybe I'm not really worried, but I'm sure spending a lot of time talking about this subject, and it ain't necessarily a positive one, the price of rice in China, and how it's going to affect world population, and I'm really upset about it, and what could our governments do? You can't do a freaking thing about it, you know. Quit worrying about it, Well, but what about all those people? And what if they can't get? Would just stop it already, And so, worried about the tea, price of rice and calm down. Just calm down, you know. But what if calm down? But what about the people? Calm down, So there are things like that that people are really concerned about. And it's given them, it's given them ulcers. And they go, well, I don't know why are you being honest with yourself over there, Peaches? Are you paying attention over there? I'm just asking. Well, why are you asking me? Why are you being critical? Are you saying I'm being calm down, Peaches? Get them panties out of being in a bunch, get them drawers cleaned out, you know. So how do you fix it? Be honest. Be honest and be honest. Do you want to fix it? Be honest. Are you willing to look at yourself critically enough without it's not like a fist fight with yourself. I want to make sure that this is important. Make this, I want to fix this. I want to quit being fretful, and I want to see whether or not I really am, being scared of something. I want to see if I am being, this is a social experiment. I'm going to find out for myself. Am I really like this? And it's an unconscious thing, which most of it is. It's unconscious. And as soon as you become conscious of it, you go, oh, holy crap. I have been talking about that a lot. Oh, wow, man. And then something will come up and you find yourself almost wanting to bring up the topic and in a conversation and somebody, well, how's it going, Dave? And blah, blah, blah. And then you find yourself almost on the edge of talking about the subject you're trying not to talk about. And you go, well, and for me, I was like, well, things are okay. And I tried my best to avoid the darn topic years ago with this one thing. And I found it humorous as hell. I was like, because I've been talking about this way too much. And then this other person brings it up and asking me questions about it. And I don't really want to talk about it because I have already said too much, And I'd rather just let the subject drop. And they're fucking bringing it up. Holy crap, and you're trying to dance out of the way, of the subject, and so it's like, okie doke. But, but you have to be in the way that when I say brutally honest, you have to be honest. You can't just go, well, that one don't count. Or, well, that really wasn't like that. No, no, no. I really didn't do it. And who are you to tell me that I said that, No, you gotta be able to go, yeah, maybe you're right. You gotta at least be neutral in what, as you're trying to discover your little ins and out about yourself, because some of these are subconscious. So when you say, okay, creator, I want you to make me aware. All right. Make me aware of these things that might be potential issues. Please make me aware. If nothing else, because if I can become aware of it, I can fix it. If I'm worried about something that's a month away, going to send the kids off and going to go camping, going to go blah, blah, blah. I recently purchased a boat, for example. It hasn't been in the water in 3 or 4 years. Is it going to sink? Is it going to float? Am I going to be able to put it on the back of my truck? Am I going to get my truck ever to work again? Am I going to be able to work good enough ever again to be able to, put the boat in? It's a short boat, that for sure. It's a little bass hound, and but am I going to actually? Is Duggar going to be able to get in and out of the boat with me? If he can't get in and out of the boat, can I? Am I going to be able to pick him up? I mean, just nanny, 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 all that stupid shit, right? About the boat, and it's like I know right now I'm not capable of taking it out by myself. I'm just not strong enough yet. But I'm already worried about all these other things. Alexander, how you doing? I'm high right here. It's 120. It says exact. Is that right? Is that a 20? I was sitting here waiting. Yes, 120. So happy 20, everybody, and wherever you may be. No, I had the two 12-gallon tanks, 24 total. Dually tanks, 24 gallons, 24. Be brutally honest with yourself without being mean. You know what I mean by that is, don't. I used to go, well, goddamn, Dave, that was just stupid, and you shouldn't be doing that dumb shit anymore. And you're trying to get better. Quit doing that stupid shit, Dave. And that's what I mean by being mean. You can't be mean to yourself. You have to be more in the comical, like, whoops, there it is. I did it again. Whoop, there you go. There's a nickel in the jar, or something. But, when I first started out, before I learned that I was not speaking in the positive, that I was very much speaking in the negative, because I was cursing myself every time I turned around. Well, God dog, Dave, that was just stupid. What the hell did you do that for? And now you could say, I wonder what I did that for, versus putting it in the vernacular that, what the hell did you do that for? Which is mean spirited and kind of nasty. But when you ask the thing, I wonder why I did that. And if it's a repetition, you can go, I wonder why I did that again. Oh, holy crap, I really did do that again. Oh, wow, okay. And then go on. But I was being mean to myself and being very much in the negative as I was trying to criticize myself. And so one day there was a knock on the back of my head, knock on the door, and it was like, do you realize how mean you're being? And I was like, well, what do you mean? Well, I got to be tough on myself. And it was like, yeah, but you don't have to be mean, you know. Well, what do you mean by mean? Well, every time you say that, you go, God damn, Dave, yeah, what an asshole, you stupid shit. What are you doing that for? Do you realize what you're doing to your self esteem? You're trying to fix this, but you're cursing yourself every time you turn around. Oh, I am, ain't I? Whoa, that's another being brutally honest. Are you really doing it? And so when you make yourself aware and you're paying attention to it, you find out all kinds of stuff. Oh, I really am doing it, ain't I? Whoa. I really am doing that, ain't I? Yeah, because in the last 20 minutes, you've mentioned it 4 times in one way or another in our conversation. So I would say that, yeah, maybe you should stop and reconsider how you're saying it. I'm not saying you should avoid the subject or whatever, but are you actually saying it in the positive? Because you want to be positive and you're trying to speak in the positive, but when you get to this subject, are you really speaking in the positive? And if you stop it, because I'm listening and you're telling me that you're not speaking in the positive, but because you've said it so many times, you don't realize because it's unconscious to you that you're actually speaking in the negative. So I go, wait a minute, okay, all right, I'm gonna pick on Steve for a minute. So I say, okay, Steve, did you know that you talked about this 4 times in a row in the last 20 minutes? No. Well, are you worried about this or whatever? So I'm gonna stop you, or your brain should stop you, but I'm talking about me. I'm gonna stop you and go, you're trying to get better about this, right? Yeah. Well, then how come you keep bringing it up? Well, I didn't know I was. That's the first step. I'm not trying to be mean, and your brain shouldn't be mean to you, but your brain should be this other person and go, hang on, you're talking about it again. Oh, crap, I am, ain't I? That so my conversation, and I'm making this up, my conversation with Steve, and he's like, well, I'd really get like to get better about this, and okay, so quit talking about it. So all right, so but then in not talking about it, it keeps getting brought up. So as a personal friend, I have to say, well, did you know that you just brought it up 4 times in the last 20 minutes? No, I really wasn't aware. Remember when you said that? Yeah, you pointed out, right? So that's not being mean, but it's pointing out that someone, my subconscious or your subconscious, is you talking about your roof. Yeah. Yeah, we was kind of joking about that, but I was actually just picking on you right now. I was just making stuff up, Steve. But yeah, we kind of sort of had that conversation the other day, didn't we? But and I was picking on you then. But anyway, I'm glad you're getting your roof worked on. Really, 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 really. And that's working out. I was sent out prayers about that. But anyway, so other people, if they help us to point out, not necessarily our wrongs, but that we keep bringing certain things up, right? So, but that person inside of us, the truth teller, we have to listen to ourselves and go, yeah, my insides just alerted me that I said that thing again, but I'm not going to curse about it. I'm not going to cuss myself for doing it again. Or, oh my God, there I went again. And I'm trying so much to, no, just laugh about it and go, there's one. Whoops, another one slipped by. You know, we're just tired of hearing about it. Now that's funny. No, 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 no. I'm getting just real. I'm really glad, honestly, really glad. I wouldn't lie to y'all like that. I swear to God. But wink, wink, nod, nod. But now, now, now. No, but being truthful to ourselves. So I found out that I was really being mean to myself. In my, it not only was I criticizing myself, but I was being mean about it. And so don't be mean to yourself, but absolutely, you want to fix it, then stop and look at it and go, you know? And I have chosen to, like, for example, in the old days, say I was trying to not say the word floozy, all right? I'm just making this up, right? So I've been using the word floozy too much, and I want to quit saying floozy. So I'm like, talking around, we're just standing around and we're having a smoke and a beer after work, and Floozy comes up and Floozy goes there, and the next thing I know, I freaking said Floozy 7 times, in like less than 30 minutes. And like, God damn, man, I said Floozy. And just that time that I said Floozy over 7 times. Some bitch, I'm trying to do better. And what the hell is wrong with me? I'm trying to do better, and all I can fucking do is just it's 7 times. Oh man, so much for doing good. And now that is not being positive, right? So the same situation, and I get in the truck and I went, oh man, I can't believe I said floozy 7 times. Oh, gee, mini Christmas. And I'm trying to do better. Holy mackerel. Well, that's not doing very good about getting better now, is it, Hawkeye? Maybe we should, pay more attention. You did it. I can't believe you did it 7 times. Wow, man, you really let that floozy fly. And so that's the difference in analyzing yourself without getting mad at yourself or picking or being mean or being in the negative when you talk about it. When you talk about your own um, slip ups, right? Oh man, I slipped up again, you know, and then give a giggle. Well, I need to fix that. Okay, there goes another one. Okay, there's a nickel in the pot. Every time you curse or smoke a cigarette, you put $1 or whatever. You got to pot some there, even though it could be an imaginary pot. You say, well, there goes another nickel in the pot. I done slipped up again. Okay. And look up to the stars and go, okay. For me, it was help me be aware of saying the word floozy before it comes out of my mouth. Lord Jesus, help me not say that word. Oh, amen, brother. Okay, gonna not say it for the rest of the day. And then 20 minutes later, somebody walks in and, hey, floozy. Oh, shit, there I went again. Well, okie dokie, another nickel. But this time I think I'm gonna have to put a dime in the pot because I slipped up again and not just talking about it. So the conversation in your own head. But the thing is that you are being more aware of the fact that you don't want to say the word and you have slipped up. And there are times when sometimes you say it and you go, ooh, I slipped up. When actually you said it on purpose because I can say it anytime I want to. And sometimes that's just an outright lie. But if you're trying to correct your behavior and as you become more aware of it, simply by becoming aware of it, you will change your behavior. Like, whoops, I almost said floozy. Well, there I get. See, I just said it. But whoops, I almost said that word. What word? Floozy. Oh, crap. I just said it again. But you're trying to get out of it. But as soon as you make yourself aware of it, then then you're able to control the situation. You're able to go, whoops, almost. See, almost slipped up, but I didn't. I caught it. I almost said floozy. Oh, God. There I go again. And I see, I slipped up, trying not to say floozy, and damn it, I did it again, trying not to say floozy. Oh, am I ever going to win? But one of these days I'll quit saying floozy. So as you go along with this, uh, you either learn or you don't learn. It depends on how serious you are about it. But if you're serious about correcting whatever behavior it is, um, then you will fix it. And if you will approach it with, look, and unless somebody's holding a gun to my head, or the wife's fixing to divorce me, or the husband's going to divorce me, or my mate's going to divorce me, or my dog's going to leave or something, you decide that you need to change a behavior for whatever the reason. And if somebody's pushing you to change a behavior, that's one thing, and maybe you should look at it and go, is this for them, or is it for me, or is it for us? You know, because my last ex-wife was, wanting me to change my behavior when there was nothing wrong with my behavior. She just didn't like it. So, which really will mess with your head, man or woman, depending on. Good night, Pearl. Love you too. I put $1 in the jar. I still got 26 floozies left. Don't think about it. Don't take a shot every time Hawkeye says floozy. Oh, by the way, it's Floosey. Floozy. But anyway, that you said flousy, which is okay, Michelle. I love it. Between being a lousy, flousy, floozy, but yeah, how many times I could say floozy, but I'm just making this up. But the thing is that so awareness goes a long way and just on so many levels. And so, and whether or not well, I'm aware today, but what about tomorrow? Well, are you going to be aware tomorrow, or are you just going to pretend? And there have been times when I was like, son of a bitch, I said floozy. Oh man, I really didn't mean to, but you didn't really try to stop from saying it. You allowed it to slip by. And that's sort of well, I was just sitting around talking with the boys, and it didn't really matter if I said floozy, but yeah, no, I didn't really need to say it. Yeah, okay. And I had floozy issues, meaning that there were certain words and phrases that I was just blurt out. And, well, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I really had an uncontrollable mouth in a lot of ways. And I did not want it to be that way. And I had to change it. And there was shit that would come out of my mouth before I realized it. And I'd be like, I was already backtracking. Before I finished the sentence, I was already apologizing. And I mean it. I was like, oh man, I'm sorry. I should not have said it like that. Let me rephrase that. I mean, just 2 sentences. Let me rephrase that. I'm apologize. I'm sorry that came out wrong. Let me try again. And then I learned to not say things and think about them first, and then say them, so I didn't have to apologize as much. But it was much more effective. But so in this understanding of the self and how do I fix this if I'm really serious about it, is to look at this and go, yeah, okay, I see that normally I would say floozy right about now, but I'm not going to say floozy because I'm around the guys and we're drinking or whatever, and I'm going to say floozy, and then you go, no, I'm not. I'm going to say something else. I'm going to say flousy instead, or I'm going to talk about fleazy instead of floozy, you know, and I'm going to make everybody laugh. Instead of saying floozy, I'm going to say fleazy, he, so floozy, yeah. Anyway, looked at the thermometer. It's 85. Man, I got a fan on in here, and I'm on short sleeves and well, shorts. And my legs are cold, and it's about 68 degrees in the house, maybe 65, with no windows open. Um, you know, and it's South Georgia. I can't believe it how good my house works. But anyway, so whatever thing that you're trying to correct, just make yourself aware of it, and then pick an easy way to change that behavior, and you will feel so much better when you tackle some small thing like saying floozy, or whatever the word may be. But in that, wow, you have identified something that you don't really need in your vocabulary or your attitude or your daily routine or whatever it is that you find it, oh, wow, I really do that a lot. No, I don't really need to. It's kind of silly or a little ridiculous or, whatever your reason that you want to change it. So, but once you identify something, pick one first. Don't pick a bunch of them. Pick one. And then every time you start to come up to it, you go, man, there it is. There it is. Ain't going to do it. Well, you almost said floozy. I know, damn it. You said it instead, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not even going to pretend to say it. I'm not going to slip up and say floozy. See, I caught myself halfway through the word. I was going to say flu. I'm not going to say it. So you catch yourself in such a way is that means to yourself that you're really serious. You're really serious about fixing it. So for every time you catch yourself and for every time you stop yourself ahead of time, and that you become aware of it and you go, wow, this is normally where I would use the word floozy, but I'm going to use something else. And then after a while, you just don't even use the word or think about using the word because you have removed it from your vocabulary. You have changed you have modified your behavior. And in a simple way, by simply becoming aware of it and using another word. You're finding another find I always like, man, I used to use that phrase all the damn time, and now it's a game for me to see what other kinds of words, how I can get what I used to say right here and but using other words to get the point across without saying, oh, go muck yourself. Let me say it in a, like bend over with, something and, do or whatever. But to the point though, you make yourself aware of it and then you play the game of using other words or phrases or you stop thinking that way or whatever it is. So modify your behavior and self hypnosis absolutely works in this instance, but you got to be willing and you got to be, I really want to fix this. So start out with small, trivial things and work your way up to the bigger stuff. But by working on the little things, you'll notice the bigger things. And you'll go, I'm worrying about that over there too. Well, I'm working on this right now. Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. But your brain's going to go, yeah, but see, you're going to transfer this information of this small idiosyncrasy that you're working on to this big issue that is kind of, the elephant in the back of your head, which really hurts, by the way, when they sit down. And have you ever petted an elephant? They're prickly. It's like it's like petting a a steel a wire brush. But anyway, so understanding and um, becoming aware of your words ahead of time and stopping a fraction of a second before sticking your foot in your mouth or a lot of different ways of doing stuff that gets you in trouble, that if you just become aware of it ahead of time, you can modify your own behavior and become so much better at it, whatever it is, whether it's communicating with other people or getting along or just getting along with yourself and fixing just little idiosyncrasies about yourself which does improve your own overall behavior because then you're not thinking about the things that give you fear or that, upset your stomach or that keeps you in chaos. You're in control of it. And you go, well, that used to bother me. And there are things that I have said in the past, that shit right there used to upset me to no end. And now it don't. And I'm so glad, and when you can tackle things in your life, like why, certain things I was just, biting my nails. And since I don't have teeth, it's hard to bite your nails now. 30% difference per day reminds me of the Netherlands. If it can rain, snow, hail, or bright sun in the same day. Yep, that's true. We have a 30% difference per day. 100% day plus time at least drop to around 70. Oh, yeah, I get what you mean. As the 30%. Yep. And this spring has been, very different. And going to town and coming back through the country, go through the country both ways. But there are some farmers who are just now turning their fields over. They haven't even planted yet. No, you're good, Scotty. But anyway, so I'm gonna keep this to an hour and a half. Um, since I was, 2 hours with Robert, and I need to move around in this chair and reposition, and I'm tired because it's been a long day for me with going to the doctors and everything. And it turned out, yeah, okay. But quit worrying. You always hear, people say, don't sweat the small stuff. That's absolutely true. But you have to allow yourself to go, whoops, I'm sweating about that, and I shouldn't be, whoops, and just leave it at that. Don't beat yourself up about it, but just notice it and go, there I go again. So, I still want to fix it, and so in doing so, you will. Are the farmers there going into electro farming? I see a lot of people going in. What do you mean by electro farming? And the answer might be maybe. There are farmers who are doing a lot of farming with bedding. The tractor and everything beds it, and in that they put a pipe in with it, so it's irrigation, but it's also covered over with black plastic, which keeps the weeds down, so they don't have to use an herbicide. And they're getting, I don't know if that's what that is. Only small farms around here. Well, we've got small farms around here that do stuff. But what is electro farming? What is that? But now we've got some other folks who are growing. Um, basically, it's outside greenhouses, but they're growing inside. So versus being totally indoors, which there are places it's grown entirely indoors. There ain't a lick of sunshine that goes on these plants. It's all sunlight controlled, much like they grow, different types of weed and so forth with different types of light and wavelength and so forth. All of it's controlled. You know, back in the day, Disney World, which I think they're still doing it, Disney World, They grow lettuce and it never touches the ground. You know, it goes through spray machines that spray whatever they need. Night, Scotty. They use copper and fruits and veggies. The copper is like energizing the fruits to grow much bigger, and method that was being used in the past coming back to light. They're using copper. Did I miss something? I know of some folks, and I tried it, but my garden hasn't worked in a while. But taking pieces of copper pipe, copper tubing, any kind of copper, and driving it into the ground at the ends of your rows, and that and also that there are people who are gardening with copper shovels and copper rakes, and they don't use steel in their gardens. And that's going a long way in that way. I have an issue with moles and voles in my garden to the point where it's not worth planting anything in the garden anymore. And no matter what I've tried to do to keep them sons of bitches out, they always ruin my garden. So I haven't grown anything back here in quite a while. And I want to go back into container growing garden thing and being semi indoor outdoor kind of thing. Um, like grounding. They're like grinding the soil with what? Oh, grounding the soil with antennas. Oh. Okay, I got you. All right. Yeah, there are different, and I've tried some stuff back in the day. I was ahead of my time because I was getting the Real Mother Earth News, which used to have some really good articles and stuff, and also Organic Gardening, the little magazine, and they used to be really good as well. And so I was ahead of the curve where some people are just out right now, like, ooh, raised beds. And it's like, what about them? But raised beds, like, yeah, so I've been doing raised beds 30 years ago, easy. When I first moved down here, I was doing raised beds. And, oh, but you should be doing raised. I done tried it, and down here, the fire ants love to get in to raised beds. Then you're going to have to use some kind of poison or something to get the damn things out. So you're trying to stay poison free when you do raised beds, but the ants keep getting in. Oh, well, son of a bitch. So what do? You don't do raised beds. You stay away from them because the ants love to go there. So is it a good idea? But not always, and not in every place. And well, you could have done this, tried it. Did you put plastic down? Yes. Did you try this? Yes. Them sons of bitches still got in my raised beds. And they still killed and ate my potatoes. And they still, don't tell me, but did you try this? Yes. Did you try that? Yes. Well, just don't know then. I know to not go to all that trouble because ants are just going to tick me off. They're going to win, and they always have. And I'm just not going to go there, you know. Pyramid structure also helps energize copper grounding roots attached to like copper wound antenna. A copper wound antenna. Okay, I think orgone energy, but it has many names. Yeah. Yeah, the original. Oh, hey, Cherry, did I miss you? Yeah, I've got some of the original ones where the magazines were, this big. But also the back in the day, the original organic gardening. Um, Really good articles and pictures and stuff, And, I tried and tested many of them. People are like, oh, you can grow potatoes in a 55-gallon drum or in a garbage, can or something. I'm like, yeah, I knew that back in 86. you know, what? I knew that in 1986. Okay. Yeah, but but I know it's a really good idea. And as long as the ants don't get in them and you got a good, but I was doing it in 1986. I'm not trying to pull rank on you, but quit trying to convince me because I already know, you know. Well, how come you know so much? Because I'm an old fart. And I've tried some of this stuff way back in the day, you know. And well, you just seem to know like you just talk like you. Well, but I've already done this, Somehow, why do you need proof? you know. And why are you cursing me out anyway? Because I tell you, I've already tried this. Why are your feathers ruffled? Which is interesting because I've have talked with some folks. Well, well, Dave, you should do this. Well, I've already tried it. Well, maybe you should try it again. Well, why? I'm older now. I'm hurting. I got a bad back and working on it. Why should I go to all that labor when it didn't work back then? And I was younger and could try to keep up. I can't do that now. So why would you, kind of criticize me for not wanting to do this again when I don't have near the energy that I did back then? Um, well, because it's a good idea. Well, then you go do it. You want to come to my house and do it? You got my permission, but not me. Sorry. But anyway, it is what it is. I know younger folks who are half my age who are so enthusiastic about wanting to help me out in certain ways, like with their good ideas. And I'm like, listen, children. I mean, seriously, listen, children. All right. Some of you could be my grandchildren, but listen, children. Grandpa's already done that. No offense. Um, oh, did you know that you could use chicken manure did you know that you could move chicken things? I had a movable chicken thingy back when I first moved here in 82. It would have been 84. But in 84 and 85 and 86, I had a movable chicken thing, and people are like, it's all the rage now to have a movable chicken pen thing. Okay, you know. And so, not trying to brag or nothing, but I really did. Came up with an idea. We tried it because we'd seen something in Mother Earth News way back then. But now, they're $200 or $300 for a movable chicken pen thingy. I'm like, what? I should be building these puppies. But anyway, but so, there are some folks that just so energetic about what they, think I should be doing or whatever. And it's all with good intentions. But I think some of these folks are worrying about me too much. Well, I don't know why you can't do this, and you should be doing, and it would be so much better. And yeah, well, when I could walk around better, we might entertain that idea. But nah, I'm not necessarily leaning that way because I've already tried it. And not that it ain't a good idea, but it hasn't worked for me, you know, because of this and this and this and this. And I've tried it several times over the years. So, and I just don't want to try it again. But, thank you so much for your idea. I love you. But we ain't going to do it this way. What's that? Only floozies use raised beds. Now that's funny. It's the self talk. What? Good night, Steve. I already missed it. Yeah, old parts, facts. Yeah, we tried this or that. Yep. What's the next talking picture show? Going to do the old kaleidoscope thingy where you have to turn the handle and the pictures flop by, you know. But anyway, so listen, I love you all. It's always great hanging out with you, but I need to go get something to drink, and I need to take off my brace, and I need to go pee, and I need to go rest because it's been a long day. But it's been great hanging out with y'all, and analyze in a nice way the things that you can change, and at least have your outlook of them. Like, oh man, here I go using the word floozy again. Son of a biscuit eater. Oh, doggone it. Yeah, I was trying to do better, but Joe came by, and the next thing I knew, I said floozy, and he just jumped and laughed, and I got a big kick out of it, and I was trying not to say floozy, but I floozied up again and ended up being kind of flousy about the whole situation, you know, and then Joe got fleazy on me, so and then I was saying floozy, laying on the ground laughing. So, um, so keep a smile on your face. It could be a lot worse. It really could be. So, hopefully, there's peace in the world where you live, and that them flousies have 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 flees the incident, and that the floozies are no longer allowed. No floozies allowed here now. We got to kick them flousies out. The plural of floozy is flousy. I don't know. Anyway, so I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings out there in the universe. Hey, Charlie McKinsky, time for my beauty rest. Cherry, I'm sorry, Charlie. Yeah, I don't have my glasses on. A good excuse, eh? But I'm glad to see you showed up. And much love to every one of y'all. Cosmic hugs, and I mean it. Because every day I continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings out there in the universe. And we keep sharing smiles and laughter, and we keep them floozies out of our head, and the flousies too, and that I will continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings in the universe. So, thank you all for hanging out. Thank you all for considering that maybe, just maybe, there are little things that do bother us, and that keep us on the edge of a meltdown, when maybe with just a little bit of awareness we can laugh about it and go, no more flousies in my neighborhood. So I love you all, and much gratitude and etc. to you all. Oh, and gratitude back to you, Michelle, and all y'all. So have a good tomorrow, and I will talk to you soon, and be careful, and much love. Until next time, cheers, everybody.